And Julia Hartley-Brewer here from 10 o'clock. Yesterday she had a really interesting interview with Karl Turner MP, Labour for Kingston upon Hull. I just wanted to catch back in with Karl. Karl, a very good morning. Welcome to breakfast. How are you?
Good morning, Jeremy. Thanks for having me on.
An absolute pleasure, sir. And I bow down at the fact that you're brave enough to what you believe in to stand up. I don't want you to say anything untoward, but a Prime Minister who I think has got about as much political DNA in him as don't even say the wrong thing, is off to China today to cosy up to a regime for a trade bill that we know has been bugging number 10 for years, that we know wants a super embassy because even the security forces have said that's a major risk. Your leader, to me, needs to get his arse back in England and deal with the issues that are affecting British people politically and domestically, doesn't he?
Well, he was out there this morning on his TikTok announcing a policy which I think is going to help millions of people up and down the country in terms of the leasehold arrangements when people buy apartments and flats and properties which are not freehold. That's going to be capped at 250 quid. Some of these leaseholds get to the dizzy nights of 11 and 1,200 quid a month, which makes them unaffordable and unsaleable. So that's the type of policies that Keir is getting up to, actually. So in relation to that, we're doing some good stuff, in my view.
Serious question. Do you believe, with the debacle of the last 18 months, that Labour will ever govern again for decades, Karl?
Look, I think it's fair, Jeremy, that the Labour Party is not polling well. That's the reality. If there's a by-election most anywhere at the moment, we're going to struggle to win that by-election.
Yes or no, Karl? Come on, you're a good man. I like you. You like me. Yes or no?
Well, I tell you, I think we can improve to the point where the electorate will trust us, but we need to do some stuff which proves to them
with or without Keir Starmer.
With
or without.
Government. Look, Jeremy, I don't want rid of Keir Starmer as the leader. That is the reality. I've had disagreements with him on policy. The jury stuff is where we came up against it with each other. But actually, I do think Keir is worthy of being the leader of the party and very worthy of being the Prime Minister. There's no contest for a leadership election in the Labour Party, and I think people ought to really calm it down to a frenzy. Look, just hear me out for a second. We're 3.5 years away from a general election. Lots can change. They say a week's a long time in politics. I think we can recover, but I think some of the stuff that's been sprung on Labour MPs, welfare benefits, two-child cap, all of the things we said we're going to do and we were preparing not to do, have irritated the Parliamentary Labour Party to a point where feelings and tensions are running very high. My advice to Keir, and I speak to him, I text Keir regularly and he replies to me. My advice to him is that the Parliamentary Labour Party are really important. We want to work with you. Please don't ignore the party. Get on with the job, do the stuff that we expect you to do in the manifesto, and don't shock us to death with daft ideas that can't work, like jury trials.
Listen, I would love to have more time, but I want to fire a few things at you. Polling would suggest that he's the most unpopular and worst Prime Minister in living bloody history. I don't know whether the whips have got to you or what, and I'm not being disrespectful there, but come on, man. They're hiding him from even coming out, whether we're talking internationally or domestically, or whether we're talking being at the behest of his own MPs. The man is and has proven to be an absolute flop.
The whips have tried to get to me, Jeremy, and I respect the job of the whips. I'll tell you, I was a whip for several years. I understand the job they have to do for the party. But look, when it's a policy issue which is irritating to people like me who know plenty about the criminal justice system, you have to speak out. He's unpopular. Yes, he is unpopular. But look, I think the country is impatient for change. We're in a 24/7-hour social media society which didn't exist many years ago.
But you started this by saying our own Prime Minister's busy on TikTok. Shouldn't he be actually meeting his own MPs and meeting people out in the country?
That is a very good point, Jeremy, actually, because we have to communicate through such things as social media nowadays in a way that never existed. So people expect instant happiness and things take time. You pull a lever in government, nothing happens. We've had it with the previous Tory government. I'm not being party political. Priti Patel goes and asks the civil servant to do a job that she is elected as a Home Secretary.
Oh, listen, I've got no time for them. I've got three.
And the reality is, the things don't get done. So we are up against it in many respects.
We've got three quick questions, and I want you on again because you're bloody brilliant, Karl Turner. Three things. First thing, John McTiernan was asked this question yesterday. His response nearly blew my mind. Can you name one good thing the Labour government's achieved in 18 months? He said bus fares.
Well, look, I think the thing we talked about this morning, leaseholds, I think free breakfast clubs for kids who are going to school hungry. I think that's a good policy. I think minimum wage going up. I think the Employment Rights Act, which changes the lives of millions of people in the country. Do you know, the vast majority of people get up in the morning and go to graft. That's our country. People go and work hard. They are going to be protected for the first time in decades under this Labour government's legislation for employment rights.
Second question.
That is a great thing.
Are you the man that Nigel Farage is on the verge of announcing as a defector from the Labour Party to reform, Karl Turner?
I go to bed on a night. I can't stand them, the Tories included. I get up in the middle of the night if I'm unfortunate enough to need to the toilet. I remind myself how much I can't stand them. And when I get up in the morning, I remind myself again that I can't stand them even more than when I went to bed. Absolutely categorically, not a chance in hell would I join the Tories, Reform, the Greens, the Lib Dems, or any other party. I'm born Labour, I'll die Labour, Jeremy, I promise you that.
I've got to let you go. Final question very quickly. Will you text Starmer and ask him to come on this show, yes or no?
I've texted him this morning. I suspect if I text him again when he's going to China...
Yes or no for me? I've got to go. Will you text him for me?
No.
Brilliant. See you soon. Take care. This is Talk Breakfast.